Narrative is armor. Facts matter, but stories travel farther and stick harder. So control your own story or someone else will. Risk is the price of reinvention. Before we start the show, I have a quick question for you. Is your resume stuck in the rejection pile? At Resume Assassin, I create powerful resumes that showcase your skills, experience, and achievements, getting you noticed by recruiters. I'll also optimize your LinkedIn profile, transforming it into a magnet for opportunity. Visit resumeassassin.com today and take charge of your job search. Visit resumeassassin.com. I've been thinking a lot lately about how easy it is to look at someone famous and think they must have always had it figured out. They must have always been that confident, that powerful, that successful. But the truth, every towering name we know today, every legend started somewhere painfully ordinary. And often, their paths were anything but polished. Welcome to Career Stories. Every week, we're going to dig beneath the resumes, the headlines, and the highlight reels and uncover the bruises, the disasters, the detours, and the unbelievable rebounds. The story? Well, it's a controversial one. It's messy, it's maddening, it's fascinating. Donald John Trump wasn't born in a gilded tower. He was born in 1946 in Queens, in a sprawling working-class neighborhood of New York. His father, Fred Trump, was a real estate businessman, but forget penthouses and marble lobbies. Fred built just basic brick apartment complexes for returning World War II soldiers. They were functional, not flashy. And, as a boy, Donald watched Fred carefully, noting not just the success, but the sharpness underneath it. Fred taught him three things, drilled so deep that they became instinct. The world is hostile. Trust no one. Winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. And if you can't be rich, well, look rich. Donald was brash from the start, you guys. Cocky, competitive, sometimes even violent. And when he was just 13, after allegedly punching his music teacher in the face, Fred and Mary Trump made a decision. They shipped him off to the New York Military Academy. So imagine it. Angry teenage boy in a gray military uniform marching in formation at dawn, surrounded by barked orders, spit-shined shoes, and just relentless competition. So for most kids, it would have been just absolutely crushing. But for Donald, it was fuel. He didn't learn humility. He learned hierarchy. He learned to command, to intimidate, to win. And somewhere in those long, cold mornings, he made a decision that would shape his entire life. I'm not just going to be rich, I'm going to be famous. And so the first big move was betting on Manhattan. And Fred Trump ruled Queens and Brooklyn, you guys, but Donald had much bigger dreams. After college at Wharton, where really, despite his boasts, he was an unremarkable student. And he came back with one obsession, and that was Manhattan, the island of skyscrapers, power, and glamour. And Fred warned him, stay out of Manhattan, Donnie. It's a bloodbath. You'll lose your shirt. But Donald did not listen, and he started haunting the derelict corners of Midtown, seeing opportunity where others saw disaster. And then he found it, the Commodore Hotel. It was once just grand, and now it was rotting, dark, deserted, bleeding money, a block from Grand Central Station. And developers laughed, and Donald actually leaned in. And he hustled city officials for a 40-year tax abatement, which was absolutely unheard of at the time. And he coaxed a deal with Hyatt Hotels to lend credibility. He sweet-talked banks into coughing up loans, despite barely having the collateral, and he was only 27 years old. When the Grand Hyatt reopened in 1980, covered in glittering bronze glass, Trump didn't just save a building, he announced himself as a force. And importantly, he didn't just sell real estate, he sold himself. So, as kind of the rise of the Trump brand, turning a name into power that, other developers built quietly, but Donald built loudly. He started calling reporters under a fake name, John Barron, to leak some stories about himself, like Donald Trump, the youngest real estate mogul in New York. Donald Trump, self-made billionaire. It didn't matter if it was true, and most of it wasn't. But what mattered was that it sounded true. And soon the Trump name was everywhere, in neon lights and gold lettering on the front pages. Trump Tower, a monument to luxury and self-promotion, opened on Fifth Avenue. Brass railings, marble floor, waterfalls, indoors, you guys. He published The Art of the Deal, a half memoir, half marketing masterpiece, really. To the world, he wasn't just building buildings anymore. He was building a mythology. Donald Trump, the man who could bend New York to his will. And then, the crash came and he lost almost everything. But, gravity almost always wins eventually. So by the late 80s, Donald had overextended. The real estate bubble burst. His empire was built on debt, skyscraper-sized debt. So 3 Atlantic City casinos hemorrhaging cash, you guys. A yacht too big to dock, and an airline that was just bleeding passengers. His personal guarantees, loans he signed his own name to, totaled nearly $1 billion. So there's a story where Trump, walking down Fifth Avenue, pointed to a homeless man and said, "You see that guy? He's $900 million richer than I am." The banks circled like sharks. He lost the Plaza Hotel. He nearly lost Trump Towers. Papers declared him finished. But behind the scenes, Donald was scrambling. He was cutting deals with banks, renegotiating debt, and he was scraping by. It would have been easy and maybe even natural to just disappear, but Trump didn't vanish, and he actually doubled down because he understood something that most people don't. Buildings crumble, but attention endures. And so then he had this crazy comeback where he kind of mastered media. So Trump stopped trying to be a real estate mogul and he became a brand. Golf courses, ties, steaks, bottled waters, casinos, condominiums he didn't even own, just licensed the Trump name. And if it sparkled, well, if it screamed luxury, well, he slapped his name on it. But his masterstroke, you guys, was The Apprentice. NBC executives pitched a boring show about a group project in an office. Trump transformed it. I mean, he created an empire inside of a television set. The boardroom, the grim-faced advisors, the sharp suits, the pointed finger, "You're fired." Overnight, he wasn't just like a real estate guy. He was the boss in American pop culture. A new generation of viewers, kids who hadn't even been born during his bankruptcies, saw Donald Trump as the ultimate success story. And the bankruptcies, they were almost completely forgotten. The disasters, they were, gone, footnotes. So I think there are some lessons here from Trump's story. I mean, you can love him and you can hate him and you can roll your eyes at the drama, but career-wise, his journey is kind of a masterclass in survival and invention. And so here's what it teaches. Narrative is armor. Facts matter, but stories travel farther and stick harder. So control your own story or someone else will. Risk is the price of reinvention. Playing it safe never built an empire. Risk almost broke him, but it also kind of made him a household name. Brand outlasts product. Your work might fail, your projects might collapse, but a strong personal brand, that can survive anything, you guys. Visibility beats failure. Trump never let the world forget him, even when he was down. And he stayed loud, he stayed visible. And that stubbornness was a weapon. And like Donald Trump said, sometimes by losing a battle, you find a new way to win the war. So here's the real truth. Nobody's career is a straight line. Nobody's success story is clean. The legends, the ones you admire, or love to hate. They stumbled, they failed, they lost it all, and sometimes more than once. What mattered wasn't how many times they fell. It was that they rewrote the story after every failure. So wherever you are today, struggling, soaring, somewhere in between, just remember, you're not behind. You're building. You guys, I can't wait to bring you the next story. It's a wild one. Until then, you guys stay ambitious, stay weird, and, most of all, stay in the flight. So thank you so much for tuning in today, guys, and I can't wait to see you again next week. Thanks for listening. I will be releasing episodes every Monday, so be sure to subscribe on the platform that you are watching this, give it a 5-star review, and we'll see you next time.